Hey fellow ServiceNow devotees, get ready to embark on a journey through the fascinating realm of ServiceNow with none other than the service docs themselves. I'm James Downs.
And I'm Rush here. Whether you're new to ServiceNow, pre-Aspen veteran, or just a curious soul, we're here to bring you ServiceNow curiosities, exhilarating interviews, and don't forget the infamous A to Z game.
But mostly, it's about the random ramblings of two middle-aged guys with a funny story to tell, right?
Yeah, true. The ducks are ready, the mics are on, and we can't wait to have you join us. Let's dive in.
Welcome back. This is the second series, episode 1, and we're delighted to welcome none other than the Nashville's finest, Jeremy Duncan. Welcome,
Hey,
Jeremy.
Hey,
Welcome
thanks
to
for
the
having me.
podcast.
Hi,
No
Jeremy.
worries. You'll get used to it.
I am just going to call you out on that. That's the second take you've done on that,
Thanks for that, mate. We're
and
gonna
that's
keep
staying
this
in.
cut.
I'm editing this.
Yeah. No worries. So yeah, one thing you'll probably notice about us, Jeremy, is that we're incredibly, informal, and we just got to go with the flow, shoot from the hip, and we'll see what comes.
Informal. Speak for
I love
yourselves.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
true,
right?
true. Someone's very dapper here.
I think you and I showed up informal, James. I don't know what happened. We didn't get the
Russ
memo.
didn't get the memo.
Do you know what it was? Shall I be honest?
Maybe
right?
he didn't get the memo. I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly. You got the memo.
I thought to myself, and this was, I got to admit, it was a last minute thought, but I thought I'm going to be in the presence of two CMAs. I'm not.
And you just thought we would dress up.
So I thought I'd make an impression.
Fair enough.
I hope it worked, and it was good comedy value. So anyway, it'll come off in a minute.
Yeah,
Don't
sorry.
worry.
But thank you for joining us, Jeremy. I think we met virtually back in 2021. I think it was. I was on the EMEA 2021 cohort for the CMA program. I think you were presenting in the design thinking session. I think it was, and obviously enjoyed the session that you delivered to us then. And I think I've seen your passion for ServiceNow, and I think that's why I suggested you as one of the really good candidates for us to get on board onto interviewing and the podcast, because always like your insights and things like that you've come up with. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, James. And Russ, thank you.
So I guess where we kind of want to start is basically just getting to know you. So, those who haven't been on the CMA course, or, those who haven't connected with you on LinkedIn or seen your face before, are you able to kind of give a little intro, your current role, what you do?
I think I'm gonna steal that. Sorry, Jeremy. I'm going to steal it because I've got something more important that I want to ask.
Okay.
This is something, right? So I saw an interview that you did. Oh, when was it? Going back last year, might have been October. And I can see them now. I have to ask, for anyone that's not listening, you have what look like 1, 2, 3 is the 4 lightsabers on the back there?
Absolutely.
They are
just
very
proof that
cool.
Disney knows how to take people's money.
Are those right?
No.
This is brilliant. So I went to Disney for the first time ever in February this year. It's my first ever trip to America, and we went to Disney.
Disneyland or Disney World? There is
the one in Florida.
Yeah.
What's that
Okay.
one?
Disney World. Okay.
Yeah. So we went there. Are those from the Star Wars Make Your Own Lightsaber thing?
It is. It's from Savi's workshop. So
Very
you go
cool.
into the heart of, I think Tatooine is the
That's it.
city that's represented there, maybe. And you go to Savi's workshop, and they walk you through. You're really paying for the experience, right? It's like you're walking into that world. There are all kinds of different lightsaber vendors out there.
Yes.
But yeah, those. So I took my little boy, my little girl, and then I had to do one.
You have to.
Yeah, so that's just a collection of all the families hanging on the wall there. So.
Very cool. I mean, I went into the workshop, and then I think it was Disney Springs outside. They sell them at the shop there as well. Not advertising Disney here at all, but they do. And it was just full of grown men of a certain age just standing in a queue waiting to hold one.
Super excited. Yeah, they're heavy. They feel real. So of course, then what did I do? Like most adult men do, they go home and Google, can I make a real lightsaber? And I would encourage everyone to Google, can I make a real lightsaber? Because you really can. It's
Yeah.
interesting the methods that you can use to create. Now it's dangerous, so try at your own risk. I'm not suggesting anyone hurt themselves or anyone else, but it's very cool the things that people have done.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Hacksmith YouTube channel. Hacksmith, they made a lightsaber with a pack. It wasn't quite as cool, but it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Otherwise, I would be looking at them the whole time.
To ask that as soon as we started, wasn't it?
Are they the proper
wait,
ones from
couldn't contain
Disney?
himself.
Right. Okay, back on track. Yeah, sorry, Jeremy. You're not going to need to ask the question again. But
yeah,
I think
James is going to have to ask the question again. I've already forgotten.
And me. But before we kind of leap into that, I just want to say that we're going to take you. I don't know whether James has told you, but towards the end, we're going to go through the alphabet games where I kind of make up the rules as we go along. So there's no structure to that either. And I think James has got we're going to try and swing in a silly question at the end. I'm not even sure what you're going with, but I left you to decide that, James. So we'll see what happens. It is work related. So Jeremy, don't worry, it won't be.
Okay. I was going to say, I probably need to go look at my notes here and be ready for that. That's okay. I like winging it. Let's see what kind of answer you get.
We do marvelous edits as well. Don't worry. James, sorry, I digress. Over to you again.
Oh, thank you. Back to the real stuff. So no, it was because obviously we've met before, Jeremy. This is a chance for you to kind of introduce yourself to the ServiceNow audience. Who are you? What's your journey been like so far in the ServiceNow world? I believe you've been a customer, a partner, and you work for ServiceNow. So the kind of holy grail. So yeah, we just want to understand a bit more about your background and your current role today, if possible.
Sure, James. Thank you, and Russ. Thank you for the comedic intro. It's great. Like this is the type of interview you really want to have, right? It's just kind of folks just sharing life and comedy and having some laughs together. Yeah. So I'm Jeremy Duncan. My title here at ServiceNow is I'm a platform architect on our workflow design studio team. I am wearing a digital technology billboard because just a shout out to all of our DT folks. This is an homage to our engineers that work here at ServiceNow that are behind the scenes making our product what you see today. They're enhancing it. So kudos to them. But I was never smart enough to make the digital technology team, but so I landed here. No. So I do work on our workflow design studio team. And James, you mentioned going through some design thinking learnings, and I'll touch on that a little later if we get to that in my day to day. But if I rewind back to where I started 12 years ago, it was really just a blessing of a conversation that I got to have with my boss at the time. I was your typical sysadmin, computer geek, fresh out of high school. I graduated in 2002, so that'll tell you how old I am. Haven't hit 40 yet, but I'm getting closer. Graduated in 2002. Personal computing was, starting to get affordable. Everybody had one, and so everybody needed help. So I got to be the computer geek. Well, that turned into a passion for server technology, getting more into enterprise things. So I was afforded an opportunity to go work at Dell. And then I landed at a place called Lifeway in Nashville, Lifeway Christian Resources. And I sat down with my boss and I said, man, I've done this, I've done that, I've done all these other things. And, I'm tired of being a utilitarian. I kind of want to be an ace in the hole. And Jim Garrett was his name, my boss. We still chat today. We'll still have coffee. And I just thank him for recognizing and encouraging me back then to continue to be a utilitarian, because it enabled me to have the visibility in the organization to where I could then go do the next task that he had for me to do, which was, he said, hey, we went to a Gartner conference and we bought this thing called ServiceNow. And this is, mind you, 12 years ago, right? So pre-Aspen.
Pre-Aspen, isn't it? Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
yes, the
summer of 2011. Yeah. And so we went live on Aspen, but we started in pre-Aspen in our build cycle. And so he said, Jeremy, he kind of reversed the cards on me. He goes, okay, you want to be an ace in the hole? I think you'd be great at this. Would you be willing to take this on? And I said, absolutely, sure. So lesson number one, just I learned from looking back fondly on that, is always say yes. And I was
Yeah,
always the yes guy, like not a yes man, but I was always
Mm.
a rise to any challenge. If you put in front of me, sure, I would love to do that. So
absolutely. Yeah.
that's a yes I'll never forget. So fast forward, right? So I spent time in the customer space. I did implementations at several customers that I worked for, just purely out of the passion for the product. I would bring it up, and we would RFP, and ServiceNow would win, and it was like, yay! I have experience. Let's keep going, and so we kept it going. And then I was asked to join a partner. Spent a few years there, spent a lot of time in the federal landscape. So did a lot of work for our federal customers, which gave me insight and knowledge and many challenges, technical challenges. And then that led into joining ServiceNow. So now I'm focused mostly on pre-sales architecture. So I get to go sit with our customers,
Mm.
listen to their unique challenges, and come up with unique solutions for their challenges, just to keep it simple.
So one thing I kind of missed in that kind of journey is that I know Russ has certainly been there, being a customer
Mm-hmm.
as well as working for a partner,
Mm-hmm.
and now doing consulting. Um, do you feel that because you've had that experiences of being a customer, you've been able to see the different landscapes from different perspectives, so you can see it from from their eyes, so that makes it easier for you when you're working with customers today, that you can appreciate their point of view and that sort of thing. Because I think my journey's been pure partner, and that's it. So it's
Absolutely,
interesting.
but don't
Dynamic.
discount your journey in the partner ecosystem, because you take on the persona of being the advocate and um, trusted partner for that customer. So you are essentially the customer. That's one thing I'll never forget about being in the
Yeah.
partner landscape is I was, a part of dozens of customer implementations. Therefore, I felt their pains. However, I will say that when you are at a customer site, you get to not only own the vision and or be a part of the vision and the planning that's happening at that customer in that customer ecosystem, but you have to live it. So
Yeah.
everything that you
Hmm.
suggest and implement and is on your shoulders in that organization, it's your baby. And you're
Yeah.
not leaving. You don't go bounce to the next problem and
Yeah.
learn on the next one. It's like you're here. And so I feel like there's a really good circular motion that can happen in one's career, especially in ServiceNow, where you do take time, maybe even going back to a customer, right?
Yeah.
You've done the consulting thing for a while, you've learned a lot. Now it's time to maybe slow back down and focus on one implementation and focus on getting that perfect and getting that right. I say perfect, I mean that very loosely. Focus on getting that right, learning along the way, and then move back in. I feel like to keep your pencil sharpened, you have to get on a level and start learning what some of those challenges are, and you can't do that when you're moving swiftly through one implementation after another. I think there are great phases of one's career, and they're most effective in that time. So back to your question,
Mm.
I think spending time as a customer is vital to being successful as a master architect or technical architect.
Yeah. So does it frustrate you in a way now, because you're almost kind of dipping into these different customers and helping them where possible, but then because of that, you're not seeing the journey afterwards. You're not seeing the operational benefits. It may well be that you follow back up with them and say, "Hey, look what we've been able to achieve." Do you still do that kind of retrospective sort of stuff now, or do you tend to kind of dip in and dip out as architects tend to do?
I do. So fortunately, I work on a team who is very laser focused on the customer success. And I don't mean that to sound cheesy. Here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Once we go in and ideate on a solution to a challenge or solutions to challenges, we come out the other side. It's not always textbook where it's like, hey, we showed them, they bought it, they implemented it, and they're happy. That journey could be 3 to 5 years for some
Yeah.
customers,
Yeah.
depending
Of
on
course.
how
Yeah.
big that is. So I've learned to just kind of let that, go. If you do it long enough, you start to see the trickle effect. So I'll get pings from our solution consultants and our account executives and say, hey, so-and-so customer, this just happened 2 days ago. We worked on a foster agency, foster care for children idea for a particular customer. And their account team reached out to me and said, hey, just want to let you know this is happening. And this was 2 years ago. And so if you do enough, if you stack enough work, then you start to kind of you stick around long enough, you get to see the successes, you get the pings, you get the emails and say, hey, I saw this in the news. Was that you guys? I mean, I remember working on that. So longevity will create those moments for you. If you're kind of hopping around and you're jumping, you may never get to see it. And so for me personally though, James, and that's a great question, like our team, again, the design studio, we focus on that follow-up. We actually have activities that we do as a part of an engagement to follow up with our customers, which would be the account team that has the relationship with the customer. And sometimes directly to the customer, but we'll follow up 6 months, a year down the road and say, hey, we miss y'all. We were really glad to be a part. How are things going? Is there anything we can do to answer your question? So, so there's always the opportunity. And yes, I think if I were to go I'm fortunate in that area that we focus on that. But if I were to be quickly moving through things and never get to see the outcome, I think it would be a downer, and there was a stage in my career where I did do that. So
obviously we see that you do a lot of, like, on the humanitarian front as well. I've seen a few of your posts on LinkedIn around welcome.us. I've seen you got the Human Impact Award as well, which you're glad to receive. Obviously, this is something that we heard a lot about in the recent knowledge as well. It seems to be picking up quite a bit at ServiceNow.org, I believe.
Correct.
Are you able to kind of speak to that kind of space and what you're kind of involved in there? That would be cool.
Sure. Yeah. So Vanessa Smith has taken over our ServiceNow.org initiative. She has a huge heart for things like welcome.us, right? Humanitarian folks that are not focused on profit as much as they are helping others. And to see ServiceNow dedicate an entire branch or arm of the business to go after helping organizations like Welcome, it's huge. And the thing is, I got to be a part of Welcome before the inception. If you look at the timeline, Welcome came before ServiceNow.org. And I say that, I call that out because there's some importance there. In anything in life, I always like to say, show me the proof. Like when I'm, not to bring politics in, but if I'm voting for someone, I don't want to vote based on what you tell me you're going to do. I want to vote based on what I've seen you do. And so this is a prime example of ServiceNow stepped up and said, welcome. And to our customer that was helping Welcome through this journey, we said, what do you need? We've got professional services hours we can donate. We've got this workflow design studio team that can help you speed this process up and imagine what a future state can look like. Well, how can we help? And so ServiceNow stepped up and did that. Well, then you fast forward a year, and now .org is out there. It's available for folks to take part of. So to me, that's ServiceNow has put their money where their mouth is and said, hey, we're going to step up and have an organization that's focused on things like what Welcome's doing. So Welcome is another example, James. It's not because of how great I am or there's nothing that's me. It's all about the willingness for people to say yes and to step up in a time of need. So when I got the phone call to solve, I didn't know the customer. I didn't know the challenge. I didn't know anything. The SC, that a good friend of mine, Mike Buckner, who called me and said, well, he's an architect now, but at the time he was the SC on the account. But he said, Jeremy, we got an opportunity to work on something very fast paced. So he had me there. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm fly by the seat of my
fast paced.
I don't want to plan. I want to figure it out as we go.
Get straight into it. Yeah.
And then he said, very, very high impact on the humanitarian side. And I said, okay, like again, you had me at fast pace, but let's go. So that's another yes that I can put down in the history books that says, like, just being there and being willing, a willing body in a time of need. That look at the impact that it's made. And I'm grateful. Like, I'm one piece of a bigger group of folks, and that I couldn't name them all right now.
Yeah.
Is it wouldn't be fair to the others that were involved. But my team in particular on the design studio, we had some amazing talent step up and say, we're here, let's all do this together. And so we banded together, and you would think that it was an army that built this. So we were able to go live with Welcome Connect in roughly 6 weeks. The target was 4. We wanted to make sure it was super secure, some things, some checks and balances in place. And we said, okay, so it took 6. It wasn't an army of people. We're talking maybe a dozen at most. And that included designers and we had a couple of key architects and then a few developers that were just really heads down focused. I mean, it doesn't take an army to build things on our platform. So there's that too. So it's not just people saying yes. It's not just skilled resources that are available to rise up to a challenge, but it's also having a platform. And I'll say, guys, this is the only reason I'm here where I'm at today. 12 years later, I'm wearing the brand, I'm sporting it. I mean, it's everywhere. People joke about how much, I mean, I got swag everywhere. Anytime I get
don't talk about swag around Russ.
No, I've got a question about swag in a bit.
And I expect something Service Ducks. I'm just saying, I gotta
do you know what? Do you know what? I got a couple of questions off the back of what you were talking about there, Jeremy.
Sure.
However,
yeah,
I saw, was it last week or the week before on LinkedIn? Someone posted a picture of a ServiceNow Stein, a beer glass. And that was the best swag I've ever seen. I was like, I want one of those. It was
never seen that.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We have toyed with the ideas of having branded ducks and sending the ducks out. So you may get one.
I tell you, when I saw the Service Ducks, I don't want to get away too far away from my thought, but when I saw the Service Duck, I thought Jeep fans everywhere. Since we're naming all kinds of brands, let's just go ahead and get in all the trouble.
Just do it.
Jeep fans, that's their thing. Like if you've ever seen a Jeep Wrangler drive down the road, they have little rubber duckies in their windshield.
All right.
And so they trade them. They're like coins. They're like challenge coins. And people will, if your doors are off of your Jeep, they'll come and place a duck on your dash. So, like, you have a whole audience out there of nerdy Jeep owners.
We need to get them in. We tend to alienate our audiences, but that's we need to get people on board.
But anyways, to round out that thought real quick, it's because of our platform. It's because of how much easier it's gotten to build on, where we're enabling citizen developers who have fantastic ideas to go build. They're enabled now. They're empowered. And so we're going to see, I heard Bill McDermott say, I want to see 1 billion apps created. And I don't think that's too lofty of a goal, because if you look at the number of customers we have, the number of passionate folks that we have in the ecosystem that can actually build, I mean, the sky's the limit. What are we going to solve, right? And then you add artificial intelligence in there. And yes, I said it, AI, generative AI, all that stuff. You add that, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy.
Is that coming?
What does that mean? Just on the humanitarian projects there. So I know in the UK there are. I'm a freelancer contractor, so I've worked for a couple of partners in the recent years. And there are partners out there that do those projects with ServiceNow. However, as an independent, I don't tend to get as included in that, because obviously I'm not working direct for that partner. Does that make sense? Yeah. So how, as I know quite a few contractors out there, and I certainly know a number of them would like to get involved. So how would we get involved as independents? Is that something we can do, or is it just a closed door we can't? Or
that is a fantastic question, and that's not one that I know the answer to. It's no secret that Vanessa Smith runs the .org program.
Okay.
I would say making yourself known and saying, hey, I'm here to help. And really, if you're supporting partners already, maybe even going that angle. I don't know of an official channel, but I could just make suggestions that are logical suggestions about attaching yourself to those that are hearing about those things. And then again, maybe connecting at that level and having a relationship there.
The name's enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
You'll follow that up.
I'll follow that up. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool, fantastic. What I just wanted to do is just kind of finish off this kind of little segment around just understanding yourself, just by
Mhm.
understanding. So, what do you do outside of ServiceNow? Hobbies. I've seen.
He plays with
Again, seen,
lightsabers. Told you.
yeah, lightsabers. That's it. It's just lightsabers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the camera cut off some things, but there's
Oh yeah.
I play
Oh, there we go.
guitar. Yeah, I play guitar. Yeah. So hobbies and stuff, like what I do in my free time, it's kind of changed. When we had our first, I have 3 children. The oldest is 11 now, and when she was born, I was just finishing up my field training for being a police officer. I was still a computer guy, but I always, when I was little, I said, hey, I either want to be a police officer, or I want to go, mess with computers and do that. And the older I got, had more people telling me not to do law enforcement just because of the challenge. It's just, I could get into many stories, but it's hard on your family. You spend a lot of time away from home. It's almost like signing up to be a traveling salesman. You're gone a lot. It's stressful. There's a lot of risks involved. And so I made the decision to go with computers because I was just so passionate about it anyways. I was like, it makes sense. But as I got older, I had an opportunity to volunteer for our city, the city that I lived in, Hendersonville, for their municipality, and they had a reserve program. And so I went through it, did over 400 hours of on the road training, 80 hours of classroom training, and then graduated. Actually, the next day that my daughter was born, that previous night, I had been riding along and in uniform and got my last check off to be released from field training. And I'll never forget, I got the email about being released from training that day that she was born. And that was really cool because that sealed the next chapter for me. So on the nights and weekends, after, our baby was old enough and I wasn't going to get, shot daggers at with my wife's eyes every time I walked in. Well, it was okay. I then went and spent, some nights and weekends out on the road. So I got to serve my community and be a fully certified police officer. So in our city, you couldn't tell a reserve officer from a full-time officer. We all kind of did the same thing. We drove cars and took people to jail and worked crashes and, did all that. So it was fun. Like, it was a good way for me to give back to my community, as well as like check a box for me, like things that make me tick. And it also did a lot for my personality. It helped me be more decisive. It helped me make decisions differently. It just changed me. It just changed who I am. So I did that for 10 years as a hobby.
And
that's what it was. It was a hobby and really a community impact effort for me. But then camping, camping has always been our thing. We camped before we had kids, and we said, hey, if and when we have kids, we're going to keep camping. And we did. So we were taking little babies out camping in the great outdoors and have consistently done that. So that's what we do. Now it's shifted. So I no longer do law enforcement work. I did that for a decade. And now I focus on making sure my kids are doing their recreational sports. My son plays travel baseball now. That's brand new. So we're going to see so check back with me in about 6 months and I'll tell you what I think about that. But
plays
any
travel.
chance you can become a Cubs fan?
Love it.
Did you have that?
Yeah.
Did you have that ready to go?
I did. You like it when I prepare, don't you?
It took them long enough, but they finally did it. Yeah.
What's just on that? When you said, did you say travel baseball? What's travel baseball? Is it just me? Must be.
So there's the concept of recreational baseball where it's the city, right? The city parks department has a season, and then they have all these teams, and they get all the dads to coach the teams, and it's it's like herding cats. They're like, okay, this dad said he'll be a head coach, and then we got all these kids that are on the teams, and then he finally, and it's a free for all. Like, who knows what the teams are going to be made up of? It's great for getting kids introduced to baseball, and even to get some of that fundamental stuff down. Well, this will be my son's 4th season. He's 9. We started him when he was 6. This will be his 4th season in baseball, fall, spring combo. And he's excelled to the point where we really want him to get that next level of challenge. And here in the States, at least in the South, the best way to do that is play on a travel team. So what we do is we build a team that will travel locally and play tournaments against other travel teams.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I get you.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we'll play the same number of games roughly, but we will travel. Like we'll regional, like just here
Right.
within 45 minutes we'll all play
So
each other.
same rules and everything, same amount of players, and oh god,
That's
I'm
interesting.
gonna sound
Absolutely.
awful to anyone that's in the US listening.
No,
to
the
this.
rules-
It's in the name, Russ.
All
Now
right, all right.
they definitely have more stringent rules as far as like protecting a pitcher's arm and stuff like that. But in general, the game doesn't change. It's still 9 players on the field and all that. So,
Right. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this on a touch to our main topic
Sure.
of the podcast.
Are we not there yet?
No, we're not there yet. I told you this would happen.
It's
We're
all
30
good.
minutes
I
in,
love it.
and we're not even got close to the topic of the podcast. So CMA, we're both CMAs.
Yeah.
I think obviously it's been quite a big part of my life going through that CMA. It was such a good experience for me to go on it, and as part of a partner being back to go on it as well. And I think what we kind of want to get out of this kind of discussion about CMA is, just understanding its value. Understanding what it is to begin with for those who are completely new or is living under a rock. What value would it be to somebody who is starting out afresh in ServiceNow? Is that something they should aspire to? What's the difference between CMA and CTA? What would suit different kind of personas? So I guess we'll just start generally with, for those who are not aware, CMA. What is it? Where does it come from? Why is it there?
Yeah. So lots of different answers, but I'll start with a shout out to our our training team, Lucy Lachlan, who handles things here in the Americas. And then I think at the time, maybe in 2021, you work with Julian quite a bit. We have some, I call them OGs, some folks that have been around the ecosystem for a long time that are passionate about training individuals on being trusted partners for our customers. We're a software sales company. We do all kinds of things. We offer services and things like that too. But at our core, this team here, digital technology, our engineers, and they're all building things that our customers want. Well, in order for our customers to, first of all, understand what we have as offerings, and then ultimately understand how to put those into play into their ecosystem, they need educated individuals, right? This isn't like saying 1 + 1 = 2. Hey, let's apply common math and we can get this thing done. It's, hey, there's this platform called ServiceNow. What do you do? Oh, I heard you're an IT ticketing system. So the certified master architect and the certified technical architect paths are curated to make sure that we have individuals that are proven to be technical trusted advisors for our customers. And so you take the Julians, the Lucys of the world who are passionate about that, who have experience in this ecosystem, and say, we want to have this program that builds on that, right? By the way, there are many other names involved, but those are the two that I personally deal with on a weekly basis. They want to make sure that there's a framework put around, okay, so how do we define that? So I teach a course in the CMA for every cohort that goes through, whether it's Americas, EMEA, APJ, all of our regions. I'll do one every time we have a new cohort. And what I teach on are architectural considerations for success. And I start this off, this whole session, 2-hour session off, what is a ServiceNow architect? And it's someone who's experienced. You have to have experience. Okay. You and I and James, we talk about, we've come from either customer plus partner,
Yeah.
ecosystem or one or the other, but the reality is you have experience. In my opinion, you're not a certified master architect and only have a year of experience on the platform. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
Yep.
I can't say that you have the experience that I would trust to put in front of a customer that's trying to make a multi-million-dollar decision and plan out their implementation for the next 2 years. It's going to be, you're going to have someone learning on their dime. We all have to learn, but there's a place for that. There's a place for folks to learn. So master architect is someone who is truly seasoned, who has multiple years in multiple disciplines, right? Not just, hey, I'm the best programmer on the planet. I know, 20 languages. I can build a mean website or a mean full stack application. That's not what a master architect is. It's one that understands our product suites, that again has shown mastery in multiple areas. Our requirement is that you pick 3, right? It could be HR, it could be ITSM, it could be whatever, right? You pick from the list. It could be the risk in the risk space, but we want you to have 3 so that we show that you have some width, instead of just depth. So breadth instead of just depth. So, and it's also someone, a master architect, I feel like is curated as someone who has the skills, has the education, but also is able to listen and translate. I often encourage our CMAs and say, look, if you're the best developer on the planet, that's cool. That checks a box. But if you can't communicate and build a level of trust with our customer, then let's look at Toastmasters. Let's look at ways to get you able to articulate your thoughts, right? Because 9 times out of 10, I find that your real true programming developer types, they don't communicate well because they're thinking in so many different, I like to think of it like a spider web. They're jumping across so many different parts of that web that it's hard to just focus on that one conversation, right? And it's just the way you're made up. There's nothing wrong. So in order to fix that, you have to tune in on that skill, right? Much like if I wanted to be the best programmer on the planet, I would need to go take a bunch of courses and be brushed up on that, right? So it's what is your skill set? What do you lean towards? So there's oftentimes even, I know that wasn't the question, but I also get asked like the difference between CMA and CTA, right?
Yeah,
that is a good question.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're sorry. I've just shifted gears. I'm asking the
No,
question.
it's good.
Do whatever you like.
So
Go for it.
So the difference, and just in short, if I can do this, is your master architect sits at that solution level. You're gaining the trust of the customer as their trusted advisor. You're making decisions. You're not just in the technical minutia. You're also in the strategy level, because we teach this, right? We teach, where do you fit in? You're not only just technical, but you're thinking about the portfolio with them. You're thinking about the strategy. What does this look like? Do you have a governance in place? That's a master architect. You're thinking about, and to a hardcore developer, they're like, wake me up when you guys are done talking about that so that I can go fix this problem. And so we have the technical architect designation that fits you more in alignment with that development team that's going to be figuring out those things. Hey, do we have to go write 700 lines of code in a script include and do all this stuff? Or can we do like 10 different flows and do some scripted actions and solve for the same thing so that a business user could go use it? Those are the kind of things that a technical architect are thinking about, not about what's the next 5 years look like on the platform, right? So in short, that's the difference between the two. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking about where you want to go, and who's to say you can't do both? It's just, what do you want to really invest your time focusing on?
So I'm glad you said that, because that was appropriate for me anyway, because I don't hold either. Being a dirty contractor, I'm out on my own. But I've been thinking which is the correct route for me, and I think James and we've discussed this, haven't we? And I'm more technical focused. That's what excites me. So I think that's where I'm heading. The one question that I had around that is, would you see that both avenues, so CTA and CMA, are more technical focused? What would you, I guess, if a BA or a BPC, could they still go for CMA? Is there anything for them to to aspire to?
I think if you're a business process consultant and you've proven, see, that's hard because I look at someone who truly likes focusing on um, taking customer requirements and articulating those into an implementation. I look at them as a part of that process, much like I do a junior developer who's trying to learn more. So if I were to like funnel a path, maybe a business process consultant, if they want to get more technical, because you still have to be technical on the CMA side too. It's
Right. Okay.
it's not a non-technical path. It's just less technical than the CT,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And I'll give an example. Because you have to make suggestions at the strategic level that fit into maybe a 3-year, 5-year roadmap that are based on the fact that you know that it's going to take this amount of time to do this because you've done it before yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not a wag. It's not, you're just not guessing. Even scientific, it's not even a swag. It's more than that, because when you have done implementations, I'm talking logged into because I know plenty of business process consultants, Russ, that have never logged into an instance. Okay.
Wow.
They just know how to take a customer's requirements, put that into a story format, and then they couldn't care less about how to spell ServiceNow or how to log into an instance. They just know that someone is going to, I'm exaggerating that a little bit. They're usually gathering their
Probably
requirements in
can
an
spell
instance.
it.
But my point, they can. They better be able to spell. But my point is they may not even care, because I know, like I said, I know plenty of BPCs that wouldn't care to even be considered a CMA. But if you were to say, look, hey, you're ambitious, you started gathering requirements, and now you want to elevate to this, because to be quite frank with you, when I started 12 years ago, I was the BPC, the junior developer, the pretend architect, because we didn't have one. Like, I had to come up to speed really quick. So I spent 6 months straddling all those, wearing all those hats.
Yeah.
So you will rise up out of that, but some people just want to focus on business requirements.
Yeah.
So I would lean them more left towards CMA before I would say technical, but that's just, it's really hard to guess at that.
So I guess my question is, what has it done for you? What have you? Because you did a CMA course as well. Probably one of the first ones, was it? That were you on the first or second?
Was not in the first, I believe. Maybe I was the second America's cohort. Maybe.
So what have you? Obviously, things have probably come on since then a little bit in terms of the maturity of the program as well. But no doubt, some of the same principles are absolutely in there. I know I personally use a lot of what I've learned from that. A lot of what you've mentioned already around the communication techniques, the kind of soft skills rather than the actual technical stuff and other things that you learn about the core products. It's the other stuff: how to deal with customers, how to deal with C-suite level people, and how to present to them, that sort of thing. That's what I got most from it. What, from your perspective, did you get most from it, or what did you change in your day-to-day sort of activities because of the CMA course?
Honestly, I didn't go into the CMA course hoping to learn how to be an architect. I was an architect.
Yeah.
What I went into the course to learn was, how do I apply the framework that we need for our customers to what I do in a day-to-day basis, in a daily basis.
Yeah.
If I'm seeking the certified master architect or technical architect courses or designation to teach me how to be that, I'm not in the right place. I'm there because I want to make sure that I'm aligning to what ServiceNow it needs for our customer. So we teach Now Value Framework as a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Create is a big part of that. I've been doing Create since it was just, here's the partner portal and here's some guides to help you along the way. Here's some sample templates for story writing for IT service management. Here's some general incident stories that you can start with. Like, I was doing it back then. Now we have a defined framework. But you know what? I didn't know what that definition was or what to call it until I went through and I go, oh, is that what we're calling it these days? Oh, it's create. So now I'm building this story around my knowledge, and then I'm proving that, hey, I am a certified master architect. I've got this. I know, hey, I now align to, and it's like off the tip of my tongue, our now value framework. We envision, we create, we validate, and we champion with the customer. Like, I get it. Like, it's ingrained in my head now. And now it's the same thing that, James, you're saying. And so then what we do is we build credibility in the ecosystem. Now our customers go, oh, yeah, that's what Jeremy was saying. Okay. I feel good about this. It's not like the Wild West. It's like, well, James did it this way. Well, okay. Sometimes it is the Wild West, let's be honest. But I think our goal is, let's educate enough people, and let's all build upon this framework, and let's go into our customers together as a united front and teach them about organizational change management. Let's teach them about strategy and having a governing body over their implementation, because they're spending millions of dollars sometimes to change their business. They need advisors like us. And so anyways, I went into the program looking for, how can I help be a part of this bigger picture, rather than, oh, teach me how to be an architect, because I don't know.
Yeah. I feel severely inadequate now with you two. I don't know what to do.
That's not the goal. No.
Convinced.
I'm convinced. No, it for me personally, on a personal level, it's something that I've been thinking about for quite some time, and I know James and I, like I said, we've discussed it in terms of which route kind of suits me. And I don't know now, after talking to you about that, because you've made me excited about the CMA. I'm a bit annoyed by that, really. Bit annoyed.
Well, I we want to make sure that people, I really would hate for someone to get involved in such an investment of time and energy, and a little money too, to get involved in it, and you go, oh man, like, so maybe this conversation can help others too. And I'll just put this out there for anybody in the Service Ducks community. Like, if you, I said service desk, that takes me back. Wow. I haven't had that.
We've all been there. We've all been there. There are people.
But anybody in the community that's questioning, like even, I'll tell you, I just had a conversation with one of our leaders in the next gen space. I'm real passionate. She learned about my passion the other day, and I'm sorry, you know who you are if you're watching this. But I feel for those who are going into our Rise Up and Next Gen programs with no knowledge of IT, with no knowledge of enterprise service management, with no knowledge of this, and trying to put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I'm confident in, is that, and I've done this locally, I've done this with my own cohort of people, where I've sat them in a room and I said, all right, we've got ServiceNow. It's this thing over here. It's nebulous to you. You're learning about it. It's this cloud platform. Okay. That's what you hear. But here's what it is. Here's what it is to you from my point of view. So I have one girl, kudos Sarah Troop. She just got her sysadmin certification, and she's a go-getter. Like, she's got a degree, but she's been like in a non-technical career, and she really wants to make the switch. And she said, I want to learn this. And she's been like heads down learning in it. And I said, I want you to think about the platform as a way to build an application full stack that can solve for your needs. What is it that Sarah wants to do? So she cleans houses as a side hustle. Mm-hmm. She said, I would like to be able to manage the houses that I clean and the people who clean it. And do they owe me money? How do I present what they need, what I need to charge them? How can I calculate that on the fly? Some of the things I said, hey, you could go get a squarespace.com website and do some of this stuff. But there are some of these other things that require some back-end processing. So here's how I'm going to simplify ServiceNow for you. ServiceNow is the one-stop shop that you could build the front end and the back end and everything in between all at one.com. without having to go to this application, that application, without having to get experience in SQL, without having to understand, data. Scrub all that. You could build this app right here. And then so then I proceeded to, say, okay, so here's how we're going to learn how to build that application. Those are the moments that you got to slow down and have with folks that are just brand new and don't understand it. And that's why I say I feel for them, because they don't get it. Like they see it pitched as so many different things. So just an encouragement to the community. Like, we're talking about CMA and CTA. That's the pinnacle. That's where you want to get to. That look off in the 5-year distance and say, man, I really want to climb that mountain, and I'm going to get there, but it's going to take some endurance and some training. We'll get in the weeds and start learning, right? And just know that it's not, while there is a vast platform of capabilities, it's really as simple as you can go solve some really cool things, like help Ukrainians talk to U.S. sponsors and gain citizenship in the process. Hopefully that's the goal, just by making that connection, right? We said, yes, we built it, and it's done. It's on the platform. You can do it. And so I just encourage, like, at any level that you're at, whether you're just the ultimate ServiceNow geek and fanboy like us or girl, or you're brand new to it and it's a whole new world. There's so many areas to get plugged in, and I will make myself available on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, Jeremy Duncan, and connect, and we'll talk. I'll talk to you, just like give you the same amount of time that I've given many other people. So
yeah, that's
brilliant.
That's really good. I think I'm just a little bit reticent of time and keeping you too long as well. I think that's a fantastic conversation about CMA, and I think we could probably talk a lot more about it as well. I think we probably worth kind of moving on to the last couple of pieces that we have here in this podcast, which is one, well, we call it a silly question. I think it's an interesting question.
Yeah, we'll have to think of a better name.
By our A to Z, we need a better name for that section, don't we? Followed by our A to Z game. Our silly question basically is, so Bill McDermott's come to you and said, look, Jeremy, we heard you say yes to things. You've been given the task to come up with the new release naming theme going forward. Can't choose cities. It's already been done. What do you choose? So we're going to ask this to all of our interviewees as well. So what is your new
That's
release
the first time
theme?
I've heard that question as well. Can I play?
You can if you want. Yeah, we're gonna,
no, this is Jeremy's. This is Jeremy's. You can ask me next time.
Oh my goodness! I should have been more prepared for this, because the funny thing is we've all had this conversation. Like, where did Utah come from? I'll leave that. You ponder on that for a minute. A naming convention. So it's funny. For the Welcome Project, someone threw out the idea, well, we should name our releases. We're in release 1, so we're gonna, and guess what? The alphabet came out. It's like, what? So instead of, we did cities, right? So the first one was the Atlanta release. The second one was Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, for the soccer fans out there, maybe like soccer team names, like do
that's a good idea.
Homage to, and I think it's funny that I picked soccer, because I'm not let you in a little secret. I'm not a soccer fan, more baseball personally, but maybe team names. Like, of course, there'll probably be some licensing there, but maybe there's a business opportunity. So, Bill, if you're listening, maybe the Atlanta Braves, or the Chicago Cubs, maybe they they want to be in on this. I don't know.
Oh, you're still on ServiceNow Chelsea. Oh, you don't want that.
What would V be? If it was a soccer.
V?
Vancouver, whatever they are.
Nice. But it's a V, though. V team names are that Google will know.
There's people shouting at the screen, or shouting to themselves while they're walking
through
the park.
If we were on like some trivia show, we would be
You'll have this on the A to Z as well. Don't worry, you'll get stuck on something. You go, why did I think of that?
The volcanoes is one. I think that might be hockey. I don't know. I'm so bad with sports.
I'm pretty bad.
I like that idea, though.
This is your domain, James. You failed.
No, I know. I'm such a football fan, not soccer fan. I'm a football fan. Number one.
Now, wait a minute. Football or football? Which one?
Football, mate.
Okay. The only one.
That's it. Not the curveball. Right, Russ, did you want to get the A to Z game ready? and I've got the stopwatch ready and explain the rules.
Okay, right. So we're going to do something a little bit different. It's we call it the alphabet game. I haven't thought of a better name for it, but we'll go with that. If you're not watching this, I'll explain to you what's on screen. So we've got the letters of the alphabet. So at the moment we've got A. I'll press a button, it'll be B, and I don't have to tell you how the alphabet goes. However, for each letter that pops up, you, Jeremy, need to think of something that's related to ServiceNow that begins with that letter. And the catch is you're not allowed to just list the versions. That'd be too easy. You can't go Aspen, Berlin, Calgary. We've taken that off.
Okay.
If you, and again, I make the rules up as I go along because I can't remember, but you can skip. If you skip, you incur, I think it's a 10-second penalty.
10-second penalty. Yeah.
10-second penalty.
Ooh.
So you can sit there on B for as long as possible, as long as you want, or you can just skip and go 10 seconds and we add it up at the end.
Oh,
the winner is, there's no winner because there's no competition. It's just a bit of fun.
We're all losers.
Is there any questions?
No questions. I'm just scared now. It's like stump the chump.
The pressure
right. I will be honest with you.
I already know what A is. I mean, A. I'm glad you've left that up on the screen. I'm good.
Well, I will be playing dramatic music on this when I edit it, so it'll sound more dramatic than it actually is. Okay. And James and I did this at Christmas last year. We did really bad. So, so don't be worried.
The bar's quite low here, Jeremy. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Let's do it. Let's do
it. If this is the Guinness Book of World Records, what number do I have to beat here?
I think, well, we did it with Jace Benson. Unfortunately, we lost the recording for that, but he did it in 6 minutes 30.
Okay.
I can't believe these included.
Have you been through the archives and got that number?
Yes.
Oh my God.
You like that, don't you?
This is how it goes,
did it with
Jeremy.
Flyform, but, yeah.
This is what happens. James prepares for everything. I come unprepared. James,
someone has to be prepared. Notes. There has to be a prepared banana in the bunch.
Yeah. So. It's him.
Fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Right.
I'm ready.
Give us a countdown then.
All right. I'll do the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Stop.
Okay. Artificial intelligence, app engine. I could keep going with that. Okay.
B.
Oh, B. Business rule.
Yes.
Good.
Client script. C.
Yeah. The nerdier, the better.
You get extra points for nerd.
Oh,
D.
Golly. I'm going to put my field service management hat on. Dynamic scheduling.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Edge encryption.
E. Yes. Yeah.
F. You could have had domain separation before.
Oh, that would have been a bigger vomit in my mouth.
Right, you take up seconds.
Oh, goodness. I just said it. Field service management. I'm going to flow designer. Yep. There you go. Guided forms or guided setup. There we go.
Yeah.
And I will say you get multiple bonus points if you mention something that's coming up in Vancouver that hasn't yet been released.
Oh man, I needed a heads up on that. Let's do. My favorite acronym. I love asset management. I love hardware and software asset management, but I hate the acronym HAM and SAM. Okay, let's just go ahead and throw it out there.
He means it a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
Integration hub. This is a friend of Flow Designer. There we go.
Jay,
I can't say Jakarta here. Come on, Jay's hard.
No, you can go old school though. No. You can go old school.
Jay.
There's a good one in there.
Jelly. Come on, Jelly.
There you go.
Jelly.
Don't know what happened.
I totally want to say Kingston, but I can't do that. Knowledge base. Yep. Come on. That's easy.
Yep.
Learning. So part of our employees software suite. Okay, metrics base, base or mobile agent. Yeah.
Nice.
You're not getting points for saying 2, by the way. Just throw that out.
Sure. I want you to rethink that. Now, ServiceNow. Now mobile. Now.
Okay.
There we go.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay. Orchestration.
Okay. Nice. Rolling these off. You're good on time here.
PAD, like process automation designer. Here we go.
Nice. I've still got to play with that. I shouldn't admit that.
Query. I mean, that transcends all take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have that. I'm being nice.
Oh, okay. Rules engine.
Oh.
Does that count? Is that
Rules
close enough?
engine? Do I allow
yeah.
that?
All right.
That's a bit.
Hey, Chris Collazo, if you're watching, RPA Hub.
Okay.
There we go.
Service portal. Like that's got to be.
Yeah.
T.
It's going to get more difficult now. You wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. This is where all the minutes are spent,
Penalties.
right?
T.
Man.
For transaction.
Okay,
You can't have that.
I'm overthinking this. Task. Let's start.
Task.
Core
Yes.
table.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yep.
You.
God,
Universal. No, how about UI Builder?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Vancouver. Oh, you said if
You
I
can't
did
have it.
something to the Vancouver release. Okay, I'll. This is a throwback to my past, and vulnerability response or vendor risk. You pick.
Yeah.
All part of the risk.
Okay. You're doing well. How's he doing for time?
Very well.
Was that your phone again?
That's my phone again.
Right.
Somebody's at the
We
door.
need to have words.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I have to think of story. Like there's some logic to where I get here. So W takes me back to COVID, where we focused on safe workplace apps, which I think have now become our workplace service delivery or something like that. So W, does that count?
Do you know what? Yeah. We'll I'll even take 10 seconds off the total time just for a good story.
Because of my storytelling. X. I already have one for Z, so I'm already there. But what is X? Oh my gosh, Jace, what did you do, Jace? If you're in my head, what would you do?
X. I can't even remember what we had.
They said something stupid like the naming convention for a custom app.
Oh no, there's that certificate thing, isn't
I
there?
got
X,
it.
whatever.
I got it.
Oh,
Every scoped application starts with X underscore your app.
Yeah, go on. We'll give you that. I think we've had that before. I think we'll go for it.
So I've got to do ones that nobody's done. Okay.
Oh no, you go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be a new rule though. Actually, I like that.
That would make this exponentially harder. Why?
That one.
Why?
Right, this is the one that I don't believe anyone has ever got. I think I'm going to give you minus 20 seconds if you get this.
So hard.
In fact, it's Friday. Minus 30 seconds. Let's go crazy. Or you can pass.
No, we're not. No, we're not going to pass this.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and say Z boot for Z, so you can mark that down. But why?
My turn to cook the dinner tonight, by the way. Just letting you know.
All right. Tell me the rules one more time. It's got to be a ServiceNow feature, capability, something ServiceNow related, right?
It's got to be related to ServiceNow.
That's it. And you're ready on 6 minutes, just to pre-warn you if you want top score.
Do you know what? I've just thought, actually, there's something that you said throughout the whole of the conversation.
Yeah.
You've repeated it multiple times, which I think I'll allow.
Oh.
Okay.
I can't even think what it is.
Refresh my memory.
And it was a key message acknowledged. James and I never went to Multifaceted.
Yes.
But it was.
Yes.
We'll go with that.
Daniel Bryan.
Z boot. Z boot.
We're done. Stop the clock.
Hey, for some bonus points, can I tell you where Z boot originated? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
You can have 10 seconds for another good story.
All right, you'll give me 10 seconds. Okay. So it used to be at the top of the list. So when you logged into High Support and you logged in and you went to the common things that you would do in your instance, it was it was called something different. And so in order to make sure that people didn't accidentally start the Z boot, of course you had to confirm, but how many times do you just go click? Yes, that's what I want to do. Yeah. So the Z boot is bottom of the list now.
Wow,
nice. Yeah,
that's going to be a question on a quiz if I ever do one. Yeah, if I ever do.
Definitely.
yeah.
Well done. So that was 6 minutes 42, by the way. No skips. There might be some time taken off for good stories.
For good behaviour.
Cool.
That seems to be a new rule.
That's okay. I would take second place to Jace, but first place is always fun. So
Cool, excellent. Right, I think we're kind of out of time. I guess that leaves us to just kind of say thank you, Jeremy, so much for coming on and joining us. It's been really fun as well.
yeah,
Really good stuff. Learning for everybody and the people watching this and listening to this back. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and coming on and joining us.
Okay, so it just remains us to say, let's see if Jeremy gets this
Let's
one,
see if he
or
got
it's a
in with this.
complete car crash. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, just remains us to say, I've been Russ.
I've been James.
and I'm Jeremy.
And this is Service Ducks. Well done, you got there.
Perfect. Yeah.
We've done that before. Everyone usually talks over each other.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go well.